Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai
अरे पिन करो वीडियो पिन करो।
Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः। ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So as Premhanam Prabhu was scheduled to take this class, but he requested me to take, so I'm trying to serve. Okay, so before we proceed with today's lesson, any questions from yesterday's discussions? Yes, Abhinav.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, yesterday you were telling a very beautiful pastime of His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj, how he mainly served Srila Prabhupada by putting the container, and then he derived a lesson that all this small menial service, by this small menial service, he earned more advancement than years of devotional service. So my question is regarding comparison of Vani Seva and Vapu Seva. So he must have done a lot of Vani Seva before it, like chanting the holy name, hearing, reading, and all. So now, is he trying to say that Vapu Seva is superior to Vani Seva by just small Vapu Seva which he did, which Maharaj did, that surpassed all the Vani Seva which was done by him?
Okay, that's a good question. It's not that the Vapu Seva is superior, but then when the opportunity is there and when the Vapu Seva is done with the right consciousness, which of course comes from the Vani Seva, then definitely there is a good scope for great progress. So when the opportunity is there, definitely one should take advantage of the opportunity. And when the service is done in the right consciousness, then it will definitely lead to great progress. At the same time, if the opportunity is not there, it does not mean that the devotee is being deprived of something. Because service to the mission is as good as serving the Guru. But when the opportunity is there, then definitely it's of great benefits. So there are two possibilities. One possibility, as we saw the quotes, Prabhupada is saying that just like the bug on the lap of the king. So one has an opportunity for Vapu Seva, but then he's not in the proper consciousness. Then what's the use of that Vapu Seva? Then it simply becomes a source of irritation, source of trouble. And on the other hand, there may be a devotee who doesn't have the opportunity for the Vapu Seva, and he's serving the mission in separation and may make much more spiritual progress than someone who is having the opportunity for Vapu Seva, not in the proper consciousness, maybe committing offenses, maybe seeing faults in the Guru, and so his position is much more degraded than somebody who doesn't have the opportunity for the Vapu Seva. Therefore, whether Vapu Seva or Vani Seva, whatever Seva, if it is done in the right consciousness, then it gives, there's a great scope. There's a great scope for spiritual progress. And of course, to do the Vapu Seva in the proper consciousness, then the Vani Seva is essential. Then one can do the Vapu Seva in the proper consciousness. And in any case, that Vapu Seva, the opportunity for Vapu Seva is always going to be limited. Right? It's always going to be limited. But if one gets the chance, then one should grab the opportunity. But if one doesn't get the chance, then it doesn't mean that that devotee is being deprived of something. Hope the point is clear.
Need more clarity regarding that statement which Maharaj made, that I made more advancement by doing.
Well, that's his personal realization.
Okay.
So that's his personal realization. And what we are speaking is more from a tattva point of view.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Some other questions?
Prabhuji, we discussed these rules of etiquette for disciple from Hari Bhakti Vilas. So in this project, my question is, if our Shiksha Guru, he is a few years senior to us in Krishna consciousness, then Troji, will it not become inappropriate if we follow these rules, like means offering danvats to him wherever we are seeing him, and like all these rules which we discussed yesterday? Some rules may become difficult to observe every time.
So therefore, remember the quotes before. We were defining the Shiksha Guru and that statement. Let's see who remembers that. Both the Diksha and the Shiksha Gurus are equal and identical manifestations of Krishna, but so it doesn't mean the dealings are also the same. So the dealings are different. And so a part of etiquette is to understand how to deal with Vaishnavas at different levels, which is also the subject matter which Rupa Goswami is describing in the 5th verse of the Nectar of Instruction. And so therefore, the Shastras describe that how there need to be different types of dealings based upon the level, based upon the progress, based upon the relationship. There have to be different dealings. And so therefore, taking the concept of Shiksha Guru, then a Shiksha Guru could be a few years senior, and the Shiksha Guru could also be a sannyasi or a very advanced senior devotee who spent many years in the movement. Correct? Both are Shiksha Gurus. Will the dealings be the same? No, there's going to be a difference. So one has to use one's discrimination and act accordingly. And of course, if there are specific doubts, one can clarify. But the essential principle is there have to be different dealings. Everything cannot be just generalized. Is the point clear?
Puji, regarding Bapu Seva and Vani Seva, as you told that one should grab the opportunity whenever it's there. Puji, what I understood is that, bro, if the disciple's duty that he should serve for the pleasure of Guru, whatever Guru wants, that he should do. If Guru is happy by taking Bapu Seva from a disciple, then he should do that. And if Guru is instructing you go some other place and do service there, serve in separation, then that will make more progress in the life of disciples.
Correct.
So more important than any of this, like the what Guru wanted you to do. If he wanted you should be with him, serve him, cook for him, wash his clothes, that will make more progress in the life of disciples.
Yes, definitely. So what's the question, madam?
I just want clarification in this regard only. This what I spoke is this is
okay.
the
Fine.
principle of
okay. So yes, what you said is correct. That ultimately, whatever we do, whether it is Vapu Seva or Vani Seva, is ultimately for the pleasure of Guru. The point is definitely correct. And just like taking that pastime of Giriraj Maharaj and that specific situation of Srila Prabhupada. So in that situation, there was, so Prabhupada was during his last days, devotees were coming to visit Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada definitely wanted some devotees to be with him 24 hours. And they made schedules and someone was always there. Now, in that situation, it was not obligatory for a disciple to actually go and do some Vapu Seva. It was not obligatory, it was not mandatory. But if somebody chose to do it, opportunity was available for everyone at that time. Correct? Opportunity was available for all the disciples. So then some took the opportunity, maybe some didn't, or some couldn't, whatever be the case. But then there are some situations where opportunity is open, and it may not be required that the guru actually has to give an instruction. Understand the point? So then in that case, then anyone can grab the opportunity. But if it is something like scheduled or something which is pre-arranged, then yes, then whatever the guru says. But there are certain situations which may not be exactly scheduled or pre-arranged, but then the opportunity is sort of open, then anyone can take the opportunity. Then whoever takes the opportunity then gets the benefit. But at other times, then yes, then whatever the guru wants, then one should do that. Is the point clear? Okay. Anything else? What else did we discuss yesterday? You have a question or a point? You have a question or a point? Okay, good.
We discussed what is the importance, why we should follow Vaishnava etiquettes.
Okay, we discussed some points. Can you say some points?
Why we should follow? First thing is that because we are dealing with Vaishnavas and spiritual masters, so we should follow the appropriate behavior, because by following that we will attract their grace and we will get realizations and mercy.
Okay, good point. Yes, bro.
Vaishnava etiquettes are the ornaments of Vaishnava.
Yes.
This shows the submission and respect towards the Guru, by which he received the grace and progress in his spiritual path.
Okay, good.
When we don't follow etiquette, then major consequences may happen.
Okay,
like
fine.
In case of Indra.
Yes, right. By the way, Harikripa Prabhu, are you receiving any questions online, or they are happy? Good. Hope they're listening. Okay, we go to the next lesson, Guru Tyag. Somebody may think that why discuss an unpleasant topic? Those of you who have traveled on flights may know that just at the beginning of the takeoff, usually the air host or hostess, or on international flights, it could be just a video, comes up and shows some demonstrations for safety. So various things are demonstrated. And then towards the end of that, usually the last point is, in the unlikely situation, in the unlikely event of the plane landing on water, there is an emergency jacket placed right below the seats. And then they show the jacket and then how to inflate the jacket and how to go out and all that. In the unlikely event of the plane landing on water, how many times what's the probability of the plane landing on water? Huh? You have some number? Okay, so the possibility is very less. There were recently, unfortunately, there were 2 plane crashes, one in May and one very recent, I suppose, in June. One was the Pakistan Airlines, and another one was the Air India flight, Kozhikode, Kerala. So anyway, 2 consecutive months. Usually it's not so frequent, but what to do? That's progress. But in any case, it's usually unlikely. It's usually unlikely, but yet there is a demonstration. Why? Because if at all it happens, then it's too late to show a demonstration. If it has not been done before. Get the point? So therefore, even though the probability is very less, but still the probability is there. And therefore, one needs to be trained how to deal with the situation. This topic that we are dealing with is somewhat similar. It is definitely an unlikely event, yet history has shown that it is definitely possible. And therefore, we need to be trained how to deal with the situation. All right? And therefore, we are discussing. Again, as we have been discussing on quite a few occasions, when we talk of guru, it refers to, yes, both Shiksha and Diksha gurus. So don't be biased. Okay, a quote from Srila Prabhupada, please read.
According to the scriptural code, a teacher who engages in abominable action and has lost his senses of discrimination is fit to be abandoned.
Does somebody remember the context of the Bhagavad Gita verse?
Bhishma and Drona acting on opposite side.
Okay, fine, good. Yeah, so that's the context of the verse. So because Arjuna was arguing, how can I kill Bhishma and Drona? They are my teachers. I'm supposed to offer flowers at their lotus feet, not arrows. So Krishna's argument was, no, but because they have taken the side of the opposite party, therefore they have lost their sense of discrimination. Therefore, they're fit to be abandoned. That was Krishna's arguments, counter-arguments. And in that purport, Srila Prabhupada writes the statement. The scriptural reference is the Mahabharata, where this statement is made. teacher who engages in abominable action and has lost his sense of discrimination. So when the sense of discrimination is lost as to what is right and what is wrong, what is to be practiced according to dharma, what is not, then yes, then such a guru is fit to be abandoned. That's the Shastric statement. We all know the famous example in the 8th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and that is Bali Maharaj and Shukracharya. The classic case of a disciple rejecting the guru. And of course, there Bali Maharaj has very authoritative Shastric reasons to do so. And just to summarize, Bali Maharaj said that the goal of all Shastras, the goal of all Shastric injunctions, the goal of Dharma is to surrender to Vishnu. And Vishnu is at my doorstep. And you are saying not to surrender to Vishnu? Where does this fit? And so Shukracharya said, no. I mean, sorry, Bali Maharaj said, forget it. And so he thought, ultimately the goal of life is surrender to Vishnu. So who cares about this guru who is giving opposite instructions contradictory to Shastra? And so he took shelter of Vishnu, even though he had to face severe test at the hands of Lord Vishnu. Srila Prabhupada writes, such a severe test, nobody could survive. Any other person would have died. But he went through that because he was fixed in his goal of surrender to Vishnu. But yes, so when the Shastra is not being followed due to a loss of sense of discrimination, when the proper code of conduct is not being followed, then yes, then the Shastra allows that rejection of the guru. Okay, this is another quote from the Bhagavatam. Please read.
According to revealed scriptures, a teacher or a spiritual master is liable to be rejected if he proves himself unworthy of the position of a guru or spiritual master.
Yes, so if he proves himself unworthy, this is from the 7th chapter, the 1st canto. So this is in relation to Ashwatthama, who is supposed to be a Brahmana born of Dronacharya. But then Ashwatthama, even though born of a Brahmana family and is supposed to know the codes of conduct, but yet, what did he do? What did he do? What? Yes, killed the 5 sleeping sons of Draupadi. That's not Kshatriya. It's totally against Kshatriya codes, Shastric codes. And so, therefore, then it said that Ashwatthama, because of that action, abominable action, no longer was a Brahmana. Rather, he is labeled as a Brahmabandhu. Can't be a Brahmana because he didn't act according to Brahmanical standards. Here is the quote from the Mahabharata. Guror api avaliptasya karya karyam ajanatah. Karya akarya ajanatah. He doesn't know what is to be done, what is not to be done. Upata pratipanasya parityago vidiyate. If the guru becomes attached to sense gratification, loses a sense of duty, and follows a degraded path, a path other than devotional service to the Lord, he should be rejected. So these are some conditions under which the guru could be rejected. So it becomes attached to sense gratification. So that means loses control of the senses, and unrestricted or unauthorized sense gratification. Loses the sense of duty. So duty towards the disciples, duty towards the organization, duty towards other Vaishnavas, duty towards his superiors. So the guru himself may have so many duties. And so when those duties are abandoned, and the third is follows a degraded path, a path other than devotional service. So that means deviations, Mayavad contamination, Sahajya contamination. So takes on some other degraded paths. So attached to sense gratification, because of that, maybe one fails to follow the 4 regulative principles. So all these things are included. So in such situations, then the guru can be abandoned. Prabhupada is quoting the same verse in a room conversation. So you can see on page number 54, the third quote there. Somebody read that?
By mistake, you have come to a rascal, you can reject him. Even though somebody by mistake has gone to a rascal, the book is there. As soon as you find out, here is a rascal who does not know anything about Krishna, and I have come to him, reject him. That is stated in Satra. Gurur api avaliptasya karya akaryam ajanatah parityago vidhiyate. Even by mistake, you have come to a rascal who does not know how to become guru. You can reject him. Why should you stick to him? Reject him.
Okay, so similar point. So if by mistake one has come to the wrong person, or later on he becomes a wrong person, then yes, he can be rejected. But at the same time, it has to be done with great discrimination. Cannot be done whimsically. Because if the guru is bona fide, is in good standing, authorized, and one whimsically gives up such a guru, it's a great offense. Great offense. One may have to suffer hellish conditions for that. So there were some instances in ISKCON also where such events have taken place. There was once a disciple who came to Srila Prabhupada, and he got contaminated by some Radhakund Babaji. And he came to Srila Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, please give me your blessings to get initiated by such and such guru. Prabhupada said, you have my blessings to go to hell. Serious business. And there was another instance when this was quite early in the movement, but one devotee also left Srila Prabhupada and took initiation from a Gaudiya Math sannyasi. And Prabhupada was very upset. And of course, Prabhupada was upset on the guru also. Prabhupada said, he may be ignorant, but how did the guru accept? Knowing that he's already initiated by a bona fide guru. Both will get the reaction. So therefore, These things cannot be done whimsically. There must be proper use of discrimination, proper guidance, authorization, consultation, all that is required before one takes any step. Not that whimsically, oh, today I like this person, oh, tomorrow I like that person, on the mental, sentimental platform. So today I accept this one, tomorrow the mind says, oh no, he's a bit too strict, better find someone else. Then go and find someone else, and the third day find someone else. Because after all, it's a marketplace, isn't it? No, not like that. So when there is some commitment and surrender, then there is a give and take of accountability, responsibility. So then it's a serious business. And so one should be careful in such dealings. You can turn to page 75. I don't know whether this comes here later. Just a second. Okay. So here, these are some ISKCON laws for rejection of a fallen guru. And as they state, the following laws are based on Sri Krishna Bhajamrit by Sri Narhari Sarkar Thakur, Bhakti Sandarbha by Srila Jiva Goswami, Jaiva Dharma by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in addition to the writings of Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So everything is very authoritative, based on Shastra. Okay, we'll just go through them. Somebody read the first one.
When a fallen guru may be rejected, if it is ascertained either by the admission of the guru or by the testimony of irrefutably reliable witnesses that the guru was fallen at the time of initiation, then the disciple has a legitimate reason to reject him and take re-initiation from a bona fide spiritual master.
Okay, so if it is ascertained either by the admission of the guru, so the guru himself admits, or the testimony of irrefutably reliable witnesses, not any Tom, Dick, and Harry. So reliable, authorized witnesses who have some standing, some integrity of words and action. So when such testimony, proof is available, and that the guru was fallen at the time of initiation, when he got initiated, at that time the guru was not in good standing, then that becomes a legitimate reason to reject and take re-initiation. Next.
when a fallen guru must be rejected, hopelessly entangled in sense gratification. If a guru has become hopelessly entangled in sense gratification, and it has been established by reliable testimony or by his own admissions that he has been regularly violating the regulative principles of Krishna consciousness, and if there is virtually no hope for his rectification, then the disciple should reject him and may accept reinitiation.
Read the other part. The other part.
Takes on demoniac qualities. If the spiritual master takes on demoniac qualities and becomes inimical to ISKCON, he should be rejected and the disciple may take reinitiation.
Okay, so in these two cases, then the guru can be rejected. Hopelessly entangled in sense gratification. So it's hopeless case. So as they say, virtually no hope for his rectification. If such is the situation, that there is no hope for rectification, the situation cannot be improved, then yes. Then yes. And then takes on demoniac qualities, inimical to ISKCON, doesn't follow the authoritative structure of ISKCON, and maybe blaspheming ISKCON. So in such situations, he could be rejected. Okay, next.
When not to reject a fallen guru. If a guru is engaged in sense gratification, violating one or more regulative principles, but there is hope that he can be rectified, then his disciples should not reject him, but also allow time for such rectification to take place. And they should take shelter of Srila Prabhupada and senior Vaishnava as Shiksha Gurus.
Okay, so if there is a hope, if there is a scope for rectification and reinstatement in proper position, then it's not that he should be immediately rejected, but then time should be given for that rectification. And till that point of time, one can take shelter of other Shiksha Gurus and of course, Srila Prabhupada. Next.
When a suspended guru may be rejected, a disciple of a suspended guru who has severely lost his faith in his spiritual master or who has developed an
What are all
offensive
this background music going on? Read.
or who has developed an offensive mentality towards him and who is unable to regain his faith even after hearing many instructions in the matter may take permission from the spiritual master for release to accept a different initiating guru. The devotee should act in consultation with his local GBC representative. If the suspended guru withholds his permission, then the disciple may seek permission from the GBC body.
So sometimes a guru, due to some inappropriate behavior, may be temporarily suspended from initiating new disciples and performing the duties of a guru. So he may be temporarily suspended. And so when the guru is suspended, then a disciple may lose faith in that guru. And he's finding it difficult to regain faith. Even after hearing many instructions in the matter, then he may take permission from the spiritual master. And that, of course, should be done in consultation with the GBC representative and then may go to the GBC body. So that's quite an extreme case.
Guru Asray. For guidance, devotees who initiating a spiritual master has fallen down should take guidance from the GBC papers entitled Guru Asray and questions and answer about reinitiation. These papers also present ISKCON's guidelines on the importance of taking shelter of spiritual masters and the role of Shiksha Guru.
Now, if you see page number 56, there is an ISKCON law on reinitiation where it says that A devotee who, considering GBC guidelines on the subject of rejecting a guru and consulting with senior ISKCON devotees, has decided to reject his non-bona fide guru, may seek initiation from an approved ISKCON guru. Normal procedures as applicable in the case of first and second initiations as described elsewhere in ISKCON law should be followed. So yes, this is an ISKCON law. We don't know exactly when that was passed, but in the recent times, where there have been cases of some gurus falling down and also some gurus being suspended. So then the GBC brought out a resolution saying that if you want, you can go to the GBC website and see the GBC resolutions. But then they did bring about resolutions saying that there is no need for a devotee to take re-initiation if the guru was in good standing at the time of initiation. Okay, so if at the time of initiation the guru was in good standing, then the connection to the parampara has already been established, and so therefore there is no need then for the devotee to take re-initiation. Okay, so that's the stand which the GBC did take in more recent times. Okay, fine. So now, taking a situation where it's Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru, senior Vaishnavas, we see some misbehavior, inappropriate behavior in any ways, whether it is some sense gratification, whether it is not following certain rules and regulations, misconducts, lack of surrender, not following the authoritative structure, whatever it may be. So if we observe something like that, what do you think should be our response and our behavior when we see that situation? What do you think is appropriate behavior when we observe something like that? Any thoughts? Yes, bro.
We should approach our Shiksha Guru and like clarify the situation.
What if it's your Shiksha Guru himself?
And like there may be many Shiksha Gurus, then we can approach others.
Okay, good points. Okay, some of the points. Okay.
We should approach his superior authority.
Okay, yes, good point. Approach superior authorities. Some other thoughts? What could be done in such a situation? Okay, what should not be done? What should not be done? Yes, bro. Take the mic.
His critical analysis and like spreading this around, discussing with others.
Okay, that's a good point. Spreading it around, discussing, gossiping. Usually these subject matters become favorite topics for gossip. Oh, you know what he did, what I saw. So that becomes like nectar to the ears of the conditioned soul. More and more, let the nectar flow. Rupa Goswami says, why only 2 years? What else, what not to do, Shamrasik Guru?
We also not need to hear such topic. If there is that things are not coming on within authorized person, we not have to hear. We have to leave the place. Otherwise, say interested in.
Okay, good point. Yes, if we are not getting information from authorized sources, then yes, then we need not hear some gossip and some talk which is floating around. Yes.
When we see some like not so proper behavior, then we should not immediately reject and start disfollowing the guru. We should give some time and we should observe. Immediate action should not be taken.
Good point. Yes, as we did read that not jumping to conclusions immediately. Not jumping to conclusions immediately. Yes, allow some time. Okay, good point. Add to that. What should not be done? Yes, bro.
We ourselves should not try to make that I will take the situation and will make it proper. Rather, it's always better to like approach someone who is responsible for that thing.
Okay, good point. Yes. Approach the authorized persons. Contact the authorized persons. Report to them. Clarify. Not that one takes the situation in one's own hands and then immediately there's a mail or something like that and then spread it around. And these days, how much time it takes to spread things around? Seconds, right? Not more than that. Things can just fly so fast. Yes, Hari.
Online responses, devotees are saying not to at least discuss with our juniors like voice inmates. We should not assume anything by self about the situation and never discuss with juniors.
Yes, that's an important point. Yes, I may know something or I may hear something, but then yes. So when we discuss with juniors or for that matter anybody else, then we are spreading the word around. We are spreading the word around. So it may be juniors, it may be equals, it may be seniors, anyone. But then if we start speaking about it, then we are spreading the word around unnecessarily. Could be unnecessary.
Not to start blaspheming him without clearing it with superior.
Good points.
Checking fault finding habit.
Yes. I'm going to speak on that a little more elaborately.
We should not start spread bad glories about him because we should know our conditions is not so high to blaspheme.
Yes. So, first of all, before we come to conclusions, first of all, we have to understand. Now, I'm speaking in a very general way, because as we already clarified the point, when we talk of guru, then we are not only talking about Diksha Guru, we're not only talking about Shiksha Gurus who may be very senior, we are also including those who may be just a little senior to us, or for that matter, any Vaishnav. For that matter, any Vaishnav. So first of all, we have to understand that we have a conditioned nature to find faults. Because we have, in one sense, we have found faults with the faultless Supreme Lord. Therefore, we are here in the material world. So you can understand the level of expertise at fault finding. And so, fault finding for a conditioned soul is second nature. Second nature. If you tell any person to find out faults in this room, everyone will come with a list of 100 faults spontaneously. That's natural. So therefore, we have to understand that yes, we have this fault-finding tendency. And so when we see faults in someone, in some other Vaishnav, there are two important questions to ask. The first question is it actually a fault, or is it a fault of perception? That's the first question. Does the fault actually exist, or am I perceiving something as a fault which is not actually a fault? Anyway, there's a whole detailed discussion on the topic in the fourth canto of the Bhagavatam. Where we see how Shiva, Daksha successfully found faults again with an exalted Vaishnav like Lord Shiva. Again, a personality who's practically faultless. Why did he find faults? Envy. Because of his envious nature, he saw faults. So therefore, the first question to ask when we see faults is, does the fault actually exist? Or is it my perception? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur told the well-known, you could say, story or example of the conversation between the needle and the sieve. You know that? Needle and the sieve. You know what's a sieve? What's a sieve? Chalni. So how many holes are there in the chalni? Unlimited practically. And yet, the sieve looks at the needle and says, you have a hole. He cannot observe how many holes he has. And he's observing the one hole of the needle. That's our tendency. I may be full of faults, but I'm very eager to point out one small fault in somebody else and make it a big issue. So that's the first point. The first point is to, first of all, do some analysis, maybe self-analysis, or take some help and find out whether it is actually a fault or it's misplaced perception. And the second important point is, even if the fault does exist, then am I the right authorized person to do something about it? Do I have an authority? Do I have a service? Do I have a responsibility to do something about it? If not, contact the right person. Then it's none of my business. Then it's none of my business. Then I just have to report to the right person and be detached. But the last thing to do is take matters into one's own hands and then do all sorts of things and spread it around and all that. That's the worst thing to do. Worst thing to do. There was an incident like that during Srila Prabhupada's time. And so it was about the temple presidents who had some issues. So, and then the devotees started gossiping about it and they're spreading it around. And when finally it came to Srila Prabhupada was so upset. He said that with this sort of gossip and spreading of the false, then this devotee, he will leave Krishna consciousness and he will never come back. He will never come back. Now, Srila Prabhupada in his lectures, he speaks about how even a materialistic leader, when there are faults, what's the standard behavior? So, Srila Prabhupada very often spoke about the then US President, Mr. Nixon. Anyway, if you hear Prabhupada, it was 1968, Prabhupada speaking about the then US President, Mr. Johnson. And at that time, he says, the people were saying, oh, this Johnson is the nonsense. We want Nixon. And so then Nixon came into power. But then again, there were issues with him. And which Srila Prabhupada speaks about in his lectures. And then they wanted Nixon out. And so then that time, the US people were talking about it, oh, this president has done this, he has done that. And so it was all in the news and so on. And so Srila Prabhupada says, that's not the proper behavior. That's not the proper behavior. Even though the person is a materialistic person, but he's having a responsible post. And so therefore, simply rumor-mongering and talking and blaspheming, that's not the proper conduct. So he says, yes, the position must be respected. Even though the person has done nonsense, the position must be respected. Otherwise, people will lose faith in the position itself. Then anyone who comes to the position, people will doubt him. So he says that even for a materialistic leader, he says that that's not the proper standard behavior. Okay, some faults were there, let the authorities do the needful. Then how much more that applies in spiritual circles? So therefore, the important point is that while finding faults with the Vaishnav, one should be extremely careful. Because if one unnecessarily finds faults, there could be disastrous consequences. And of course, the Chaitanya Charitamrita is full of such examples. We have examples of Gopal Chappal blaspheming Srivas Thakur, examples of Gopal Chakravarti blaspheming Haridas Thakur. We have example of Ramachandra Puri blaspheming the Vaishnavas. Ultimately, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his own Guru Madhavendra Puri. We have example of Amogha blaspheming Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So many examples, and in all cases, disastrous consequences. So therefore, one should be very careful before one does something like that. So first of all, the general attitude amongst Vaishnavas should be, as Prabhupada gave the well-known example, the housefly mentality and the honeybee mentality. I hope everyone's aware of that. So the housefly mentality is what? Even though there could be a beautiful garden of roses, the housefly goes to the garbage. And the honeybee? Even though there is one flower, the honeybee goes to the flower. That should be the general attitude. Eager to see the good qualities, eager to glorify Vaishnavas. As Prabhupada writes in his purports, the Vaikuntha atmosphere. That's the Vaikuntha atmosphere. If you want reference for this, this is 7th canto, 5th chapter, verse number 12. 7, 5, 12. So the point is that that's the Vaikuntha atmosphere, where Vaishnavas are very eager to glorify other Vaishnavas, find good qualities, and not see the faults. So, especially sometimes those who are in managerial positions, authoritative positions, then they should be extremely careful, because then they have a good reason to find faults. Yes, they are authorized to serve others, to rectify them, but that must be done in the service modes with great discretion and caution. And not that, and therefore, somebody in authoritative position, he must, when he sees faults and he's trying to rectify them, then he should ask himself, am I doing this because of some envy, or am I actually wanting to do some service to help this devotee? Why am I doing this? So that should be the general attitude of Vaishnavas. And then what is senior Vaishnavas? One should be extremely careful. And so the best position is that if there are any doubts, best is before saying anything, before doing anything, clarify, consult other Vaishnavas, and then do things accordingly. Okay, so as we discussed, yes, the procedures for lodging complaints once temple authorities, Shiksha gurus, and ISKCON Resolve is a specific department within ISKCON to deal with conflicts and such complaints. And so usually they keep things confidential, and then they deal with these issues appropriately. This we already read. And so, as we have been discussing, but in situations like this, then we have the great advantage by being within the ISKCON society. Because by being within the ISKCON society, then if such events do take place, whether it's the case of Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru or some other senior Vaishnavas, then we have shelter. We have shelter of so many other Vaishnavas. And we have shelter of Srila Prabhupada. And so therefore, that's how, by remaining within ISKCON, we are always sheltered. And therefore, we also did make the point before, therefore, we should not get into a sort of personality cult where we just stick to one person and we have no other shelters. So therefore, it's very important that we have multiple relations with Vaishnavas. And then we have relations with other Shishya Gurus also, so that in such unlikely events that could take place, then we are sheltered and we don't feel that this one person is gone means shunyaitam jagat sarvam. No, we should feel sheltered by other Vaishnavas. And so therefore, as we did mention, that having that family spirit and maintaining relations with a number of Vaishnavas is very conducive for our spiritual growth. Okay, read this. Go to Mission Prabhupada.
Please always try to remember me by my teachings, and we shall always be together. Just like I have written in the first publications of Srimad Bhagavatam, The spiritual master lives forever by his divine instruction, and the disciples lives with him. Because I have always served my Guru Maharaj and follows his teachings, I am now never separated from him.
So yes, so if one is always following the teachings of the spiritual master, then one is always in association with the spiritual master. And so therefore, it is important to be connected to the teachings of the founder Acharya and other Vaishnavas, so that then whatever happens in the society, one always feels that secure connection. And so therefore, as we have been discussing, especially within the ISKCON society, maintain that strong connection to an infallible shelter of Srila Prabhupada is something which is very, very important, because so many things could happen in the society, but that is, the shelter of Srila Prabhupada is something which is infallible. And if we have that strong connection to Srila Prabhupada, then whatever else happens in the society, we will always find that strong shelter. And of course, definitely, we have shelter of so many other Vaishnavas who are also strongly connected to Prabhupada. And so that's how we can always remain safe. Okay, fine. Any questions?
Spread the rumor, or if someone spread the rumor about one who was fault, then what the person to do, who's the faulter, what he have to do?
So what's the person who has the fault, or the person who's spreading the rumor?
Who has fault, and is fault is spread on the person, and what he have to do?
Okay, so I'm asking that, okay, so I have a fault, and then somebody came to know, and he has spread it all around. So what should I do then? Any suggestions? Now it's spread to hundreds of devotees. Okay.
I should go to my superior and I should reveal everything to my superior, like whatever the right decision will be.
Okay, yes, that's the right course of action. So I should go to my superiors and I should reveal what has happened. And of course, usually in such types of authorities, the rumor goes to the authorities also. They also come to know, even before I go. So, but in any case, yes, one should go to the authorities and then discuss with them what should be done, and whatever they decide, then do according. All right? Yes.
Question. You told that when the spiritual master is in good standing, then and later on when he fallen in position, then that time no need for reinitiation. So after that that devotee continue to reciting the Ram mantra and photos of spiritual master or before worshipping the deities.
No. If the guru has fallen, so now he is not qualified to receive worship. So then he is not qualified for that. So then in that case, then either one can take shelter of another Shiksha Guru, or then one can directly worship Prabhupada. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Puji. Can you please give some understanding that if a guru is engaged in sense gratification and violating one and more other regulative principles, so this sense gratification means, like, I'm not able to understand.
Yes, so violating one of the regulative principles.
Apart then there is particularly mentioned sense gratification, and apart then that there is a regulative principle.
Yes, so sense gratification could be both gross, subtle. So obviously, when it means sense gratification, it doesn't mean eating one extra rasgulla or something like that. So then we are talking about something more serious. And so there is usually when we talk about this, then we are talking about breaking of the regulative principles. That is what is the usual context. And of course, anything which could be a serious impediment in one's practice of devotional service. Just like to give an example, somebody may not have broken the regulative principle, but there have been cases where somebody may be sannyasi, maybe talking, maybe counseling or talking long, or it could be even a brahmachari or senior devotee, maybe talking too long with a lady, okay, maybe helping, maybe having good intentions, but then maybe talking too long, okay, so may seem inappropriate, so like that. So nothing wrong has happened so far, but then it appears to be inappropriate. Or another example could be somebody is regularly over long periods of time, somebody is sleeping during the morning program. A senior devotee is sleeping during the morning program, sleeping, another form of sense gratification. So regularly missing the morning program. Of course, we are talking about if he's a temple resident and he's supposed to attend, then he's not attending. Something like this. Okay? Yes.
So one clarification that it was pointed out that if at the time of initiation, Diksha Guru was in good standing, and later on he like falls down from his position, then reinitiation should not be taken by this.
May not be taken.
May not be. It can be taken. Like,
depends on the guru, depends on other Vaishnavas. So, and till now there have not been very hard and fast rules on this matter.
But worship should be stopped of that guru,
if that's the recommendation of the higher authorities.
And in that case, if he doesn't take reinitiation, then he will not have shelter of a Diksha Guru.
Yes, but then he can have his shelter of Shiksha Gurus. He can take shelter of some other Shiksha Guru and then continue his devotional service. There's no problem. Because that's what we discussed. The essential, most important aspect of a devotional service is Shiksha. So, if the Diksha has been done, connection to Parampara established, then what keeps the devotee going on in his practice of devotional service is Shiksha. That's the most important thing. So if he gets Shiksha, instructions from another Vaishnava, that's fine. Anything else?
Same context. So we have discussed regarding having a living guru. So in that one topic came up that he takes a personal responsibility. So now, although he has down to his his condition, so that time, so still he is carrying the responsibility, or how Parampara is taking care of responsibility.
Okay, of course. So in that situation, it is good that the disciple then he requests a Shiksha Guru, some other Shiksha Guru, to take responsibility. Because that Guru now he's not in good standing, so obviously he cannot take responsibility. So yes, we definitely require somebody living. So then in that case, one can approach a senior devotee Shiksha Guru and then request him to take responsibility.
Okay.
Okay. That reminds me, I think so once, Hari Kripa Prabhu, you had a question, and Shivam Prabhu, you also had a question, right? So I think so this is the right time to ask. Do you still have those questions?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Shall I read it out?
It's too long, I think. Maybe if you could summarize it.
I don't know how to summarize it.
Okay, pick up some important points.
Okay. So it's an anonymous question. It's a long question, so I'll try my best to. If a spiritual master leaves the world or stops giving initiation, number one, aspiring disciple has to take initiation from another spiritual master. Does aspiring disciple has to take initiation from other spiritual master? In two
So
cases.
that's answered.
And can he still take permission from him, first spiritual master? He leaves the world or either stops giving initiation. The spiritual master has left the world.
Okay, so if he's left the world, then he can take instruction from some other Shiksha Guru. So
can he take inspiration from him?
He definitely. If he has just left the worlds in good standing, then definitely he should continue to take inspiration.
One must have all three shelters, Srila Prabhupada, Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru, but proportion of inspiration vary. If disciple is not able to make that much loving relation with another spiritual master, and he has inspiration, love, trust, inclination, dedication to first spiritual master. Case 1. If he accept Diksha from other spiritual master. If he accept Diksha from other spiritual master, is it an offense? The Guru has left in correct standing, or he has given up initiation in correct standing. Is it offense to take an initiation from another spiritual
Then it's not required. So if he has already been initiated, we already made that point. If it has been initiated, then the business of Diksha is finished. So then whether the spiritual master has left or he has deviated, fallen, whatever be the situation, there is no need of initiation.
Okay. But in case if he wants, he can take from another spiritual master?
That's what I said. There's no hard and fast rule so far.
Okay.
So if a spiritual master wants to give, then depends on him.
If I don't accept Diksha, he in the another case is not accepting Diksha from another spiritual master.
So you're talking about reinitiation.
He is not doing that.
Yes.
The spiritual master is left and the disciple is there. If he is getting all shelter and inspiration from Vani, and he has decided to dedicate his life to his spiritual master first and cannot dedicate to someone else, what arrangement Krishna will do for him so that he can get connected eternally to his desired spiritual master?
So yes, he's already connected. He's already connected. And then of course, because we need somebody living for ongoing guidance, then one should take shelter of another Shiksha Guru.
I feel this devotee has a doubt that if my Guru is left or he is stopped initiating, then I'm disconnected from him.
No.
Somehow he's
No. If the initiation has been done by the Guru in good standing, the connection is there eternally.
So
eternally the connection has been established as long as the disciple follows.
That's what he was asking. That.
Yes. As long as the disciple follows, then his connection has been established. And so then there's no need of reinitiation, but then he can take Shiksha from some other Vaishya.
So he can hear his Guru's Vani and
yes, and then for some practical guidance and ongoing inspiration, he can take from another Shiksha.
Hare Krishna. I have written, so I'm just reading it. If in any community a devotee has Siksha Guru, but due to some managerial reasons, if that Siksha Guru is changed and new Shiksha Guru is appointed for that community, but the local devotees are not able to derive same inspiration of bhakti from this Shiksha Guru as due to their previous relation with past Shiksha Guru. As you told once, faith is not legislative or forced. So how that devotee can progress in his spiritual life, overcome various doubts which were popping up in his mind?
The first question is, what has happened to the previous Shiksha Guru? So has the previous Shiksha Guru fallen down, is not in good standing, or the authorities have said that nobody in the community should even speak one word with him, and he's totally banned. So what's the situation? Okay. So taking into consideration that, so if that is the situation, that means it's fallen or banned or something like that, then of course, then it's good not to have any connection. Okay. But if that is not the case, then, and that Shiksha Guru happens to be the main source of inspiration, one can continue to have to derive that inspiration from that previous Shiksha Guru, and one can talk and get instructions and take inspiration. But at the same time, one can take practical guidance and ongoing inspiration from the current Shiksha Guru, and as time progresses, then faith will develop, hopefully. Is that okay? Fine. Anything else on the topic? Good. Okay.
If a disciple has not taken initiation, and then this situation happened that the spiritual master leave the world or is not in this proper standing, then what the aspiring disciple should do?
If he's not yet initiated, then he should take initiation from another guru in good standing.
Was getting inspiration from that.
Agreed. So if one can, again, the same point, one can continue to take inspiration from the Vani. That Vani is still there, right? So one can continue to take inspiration from that Vani, but at the same time, it is necessary to be connected to a living Diksha Guru. So then, try to get inspiration by hearing and association. Try to get inspiration from another living Diksha Guru and then get initiations. And of course, one can always continue to get that inspiration from the Vani of the other spiritual master. All right?
What are the consequences one may face if he is not informing his superior authority that someone has a fault, and he's just tolerating it and not informing to superior authority? Then what consequences? What will happen after?
To whom?
To who is tolerant?
Who is that person tolerating?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Who is that person you're talking about?
I'm taking about 2%. Then one is एक मतलब प्रभु जी मतलब खुद मतलब bad behavior है.
Bad behavior किसका है? वो कोई लीडर है, मैनेजर है, गुरु है, कौन है?
शिक्षा गुरु. Like शिक्षा गुरु.
शिक्षा गुरु. ठीक है, अभी आगे बोलिए.
Yes, and some of the bad people or some other detail part. And he is just not informing to the superior and just think what will happen, what is the result of after some time.
So then that's his personal problem. So he's having some bad behavior, bad habits, or whatever may be the situation. So if he doesn't take guidance, then the situation will worsen, and then there could be great impediments in his practice of devotional service. So then if he has some faults, if he has some areas where he needs to rectify, then he should take guidance from other Vaishnavas for his own progress.
But what about Trinadapi Sunishan? Like
Trinadapi Sunishan for what?
Someone says that the Prarabdha karma is there, so you have to tolerate.
That's all right, but the Prarabdha karma is there, and therefore I have anarthas. But do I need to get rid of anarthas, or I offer anarthas? Oh, that's the situation. Okay, the communication is very important. Is that the situation you're talking about? See, communication is very important. Otherwise, we don't get the message across. So therefore, if language is a barrier, better speak in a language which is understandable. So yes, so that we already clarified. That we see a fault in some other senior Vaishnav. Then, if I'm in doubt whether it is a fault, it is not a fault, whether I should give some time, whatever may be the situation. So if it is very minor and it's not very serious impediment either in that devotee's spiritual life or in other devotees' spiritual life, then one can give some time. One can give some time and see if things rectify. That should be the first step. If it is more serious, it needs immediate action, one should go to one's authorities. One should go to one's authorities and report confidentially. That's what should be. Okay. All right.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, why one's devotional life becomes distasteful?
How is this in connection to the topic of discussion?
Prabhuji, I'm not discussing.
Huh?
Prabhuji, I'm asking first.
That you can ask later. We have a topic of discussion here. Any question on the topic of discussion? Fine. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samved Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.